The laughter hit me before I even stepped into the hall. "Guess who didn't show up again?" My mother's voice rang loud, sharp, cutting through the chatter like a blade. Of course she wouldn't come. She's probably too embarrassed to face us in those thrift store clothes. Everyone laughed. My stomach turned. From the corner I watched her, my own mother, holding court at the family reunion she told me I wasn't invited to. She said it was because I didn't fit in anymore. But what she didn't know was that the hall was rented in my name. Her laughter echoed off the banner above the stage. She hadn't looked up yet. When she finally did, I saw her freeze. Her smile collapsed. Her wine glass trembled. Across the room, in gold letters, hung a banner that read, "Welcome home, Olivia." The same poor daughter she'd cast out. My heart pounded. My hands shook. For years I'd dreamed of this moment, but I didn't think it would hurt this much. You might think I'd be proud. I wasn't. Not yet. I just stood there, invisible in the crowd, fighting tears as my mother's face drained of color. She tried to laugh it off. "There must be a mistake," she said, waving to her friends. "My daughter wouldn't. She couldn't afford this place." Her words sliced through me. That's when my cousin Melissa spotted me. Her mouth fell open. "Olivia," she whispered. "You're here?" All heads turned. My mother's glass slipped from her hand and shattered. "Hi, Mom," I said softly. Felt like the air stopped moving. For a moment, nobody spoke. I could hear the hum of the lights, the clink of ice in someone's drink, the faint tremor in my voice as I added, "You didn't think I'd miss my own reunion, did you?" But let's rewind. 'Cause this explosion of truth didn't come out of nowhere. My name is Olivia. I'm 29, and I grew up being told I wasn't good enough to belong to my own family. My mother, Caroline, adored appearances. Family photos had to be perfect. Holiday tables spotless. And her children? They were extensions of her reputation. When my father left us, she made it her mission to prove she didn't need him, by turning our family into a parade of success stories. Except me. My brother Nathan became her golden boy. Prestigious job, perfect wife, fancy car. Me? I took a different path. I studied art, worked part-time jobs, and helped pay our bills when she was struggling. But when she married into money again, I became her embarrassment. And she never let me forget it. Turning point came last Christmas. I'd saved for months to buy her a gift, a hand-painted portrait of her and Dad from an old photo she loved. When I handed it to her, she smiled politely, then set it aside as she tore open Nathan's gift, a diamond bracelet. "Now this is what a thoughtful gift looks like," she gushed, slipping it on and ignoring mine completely. Later that night, I heard her whisper to my aunt, "I don't even know why Olivia bothers coming anymore. She doesn't belong in this family's world." My chest tightened so hard I couldn't breathe. I left early, standing in the snow outside her mansion, realizing for the first time I had no home anymore. Months passed. I tried to focus on work, teaching painting at a small community center, scraping together rent. One afternoon, I got a message from Melissa. "Hey Liv, just FYI, there's a family reunion next month. Everyone's coming. Except, your mom said you weren't invited." My heart stopped. "Did she say why?" Melissa hesitated before replying. "She told everyone you said you were too broke to show up." That night, I sat in my tiny apartment staring at my reflection. The girl in the mirror looked tired, but not broken. If my mother thought she could erase me, she was wrong. That's the moment I decided I'd show her what poor really looked like. I started with research. I learned where the reunion was, a luxury country club on the edge of town. She had bragged for weeks about booking it under her name. But the truth? The reservation hadn't been paid yet. So I called the manager, pretending to confirm details on behalf of Caroline's family. He said the spot was still open, deposit pending. My hand trembled as I gave my own card details. Half my savings gone in one click. But for the first time, my heart raced with power. The confirmation email came minutes later. Booking confirmed under Olivia Harper. That night, I couldn't sleep. My stomach churned with fear and excitement. I wasn't just going to attend the reunion. I was going to host it. The weeks that followed were a blur of planning. I rented decor in gold and ivory, Mom's favorite colors. I ordered the same vintage wine she'd been bragging about buying. Every detail screamed Caroline's style. Except one. I added a massive banner above the stage. Welcome home, Olivia. Every letter would shine like truth, the kind she could never hide from. Till part of me hesitated. Revenge was satisfying in my head, but I couldn't shake the ache in my chest. I didn't want to hurt her. I just wanted her to see me. To finally say, I'm proud of you. But deep down I knew she never would. The morning of the reunion, I stood outside the club, dressed in the only nice outfit I owned, a simple white dress I'd sewn myself. My hair was up, my hands trembling around a bouquet of lilies. Guests began arriving. Faces I hadn't seen in years. Cousins who used to tease me for my thrift clothes. Aunts who whispered that I was too sensitive. They walked right past me until the manager introduced me as the host. Their confusion was delicious. Inside, the room looked perfect. Every table sparkled. Every chair gleamed. All that was missing was her. When Mom finally arrived, arm in arm with Nathan and his wife, she was glowing. Cameras flashed. Her voice carried. She didn't even look at me as she walked by. Not until she saw that banner. Her face turned white. She looked around, confused, like the room itself had betrayed her. "Who put that up there?" she demanded. The manager stepped forward. "Miss Harper, of course." "Which one?" she snapped. I took a step forward. "This one." The room went silent. Her eyes met mine, shock, then anger, then something else. Something small and scared. "You shouldn't be here," she whispered. "This isn't your place." I smiled. "Funny. Because it's actually under my name." The silence broke like glass. Murmurs spread. People turned to her, waiting for her reaction. For the first time, my mother didn't have words. I walked up to the stage, my heels clicking like drum beats. My heart was pounding, but my voice came out steady. "I just wanted to thank everyone for coming," I said, forcing a smile. "Family means a lot to me. Even when it forgets you exist." Some people shifted uncomfortably. Nathan crossed his arms, glaring. Mom tried to recover, plastering on her social smile. "Well, isn't this unexpected?" she said through her teeth. "You've gone to such effort, dear. How did you possibly afford this?" There it was, the jab. I met her gaze and said quietly, "You'd be surprised what people can build when they stop trying to impress you." Her lips twitched. Around us, whispers grew. For years, she'd buried me in shame. Tonight, I'd return the favor with grace. But this was only the beginning, because the real truth about my mother was about to come out. As the night went on, I watched my mother float around the room, pretending nothing had happened. Her smile looked perfect from a distance, but her eyes were restless. She kept glancing at the banner, my name, like it was a stain she couldn't scrub off. I tried to focus on the guests, but all I could hear were the whispers. Did she say Olivia paid for this? I thought Caroline said she was struggling. I didn't even know they still talked. Every rumor was a needle. Every stare burned. Nathan walked up, towering over me. "What are you trying to prove?" he hissed. "Nothing," I said. "Just that I exist." He scoffed. "You could have just stayed in your lane. You've embarrassed Mom." "I think she did that herself," I said quietly. His jaw clenched. "You've always been jealous." I smiled sadly. "No, Nathan. I've always been invisible." He stormed off, and I finally felt the weight of everything pressing down, the anger, the hurt, and the loneliness I'd carried for years. After dinner, guests began leaving. Mom stayed behind, standing by the piano like a queen without her crown. When the last car pulled out, she turned to me. "I can't believe you'd humiliate me like this." "Humiliate you?" I repeated. "Mom, you told everyone I wasn't invited because I'm poor." She looked away. "It was a joke." "No, it wasn't." My voice cracked. "You meant it." Her face hardened. "You've made choices, Olivia. You could have been successful like your brother. But you wanted to be an artist." The way she said it, like it was a disease, cut deep. "I wanted to be happy," I said. "You wanted to be lazy," she snapped. I stared at her, tears filling my eyes. "You really think money makes you better?" She didn't answer, and her silence told me everything. That night I couldn't sleep. I sat in my car outside the club, replaying her words over and over. Lazy. Embarrassment. Not good enough. My phone buzzed. A message from Melissa. "Liv, there's something you should know." She sent a photo, a scanned document. My mother's handwriting. It was a loan agreement, my name listed as co-signer. Date 4 years ago. Amount $40,000. My breath caught. I remembered that day, Mom begging me to help her apply for a small business loan because her credit was low. I'd signed without reading, thinking it was harmless. But the document said defaulted. She'd taken the money and never paid it back. And the debt had ruined my credit. That's why I couldn't get approved for a studio lease last year. That's why I'd been drowning in bills. My mother had destroyed my future and pretended it was my fault. The next morning, I went to her house. Her mansion gleamed under the sunlight, fake perfection hiding rot. She opened the door in her silk robe, eyes puffy from crying. "Olivia, I don't want fight." "Then tell me the truth," I said, holding out my phone with the document. "You used my name for your loan." She froze. "Did you think I wouldn't find out?" Her mouth opened, then closed. "You wouldn't understand. I needed it at the time. It was just paperwork. Paperwork that ruined my credit." I shouted. "You lied to me." Tears filled her eyes. "I was desperate. After your stepfather's business failed, I had to protect this house. By sacrificing your daughter?" She sobbed, clutching the doorframe. "I thought I'd pay it off. I didn't mean to hurt you." But I could tell she wasn't sorry for the damage, only for being caught. I drove home shaking. I couldn't believe it. My own mother had used me like a safety net. Every insult, every cold glance, it was never about disappointment. It was guilt. She hated seeing the person she betrayed. That night, I dug through my old emails. And there it was, messages from the bank years ago, warnings about missed payments I'd ignored, thinking they were spam. Each one tied back to her. I sat there crying until my phone buzzed again. "Melissa." "Liv, I found something else." Another document. This time it was a property deed. My grandparents' old house, the one they'd promised to leave to me, was signed over to Nathan's name. By my mother. I felt like the air was punched out of me. She hadn't just betrayed me once. She'd erased me completely. I didn't tell her what I knew. Not yet. Instead, I started planning. Revenge wasn't about shouting or screaming. It was about truth. And patience. I called the reunion hall manager again. "Do you still have the guest list?" "Yes, ma'am." "Good. I want to host a follow-up dinner, smaller group. Family only." He confirmed. I sent the invites myself to my aunts, cousins, even Nathan. But this time it was from me. 2 weeks later, the night came. I arrived early, calm and steady, with a folder of documents in my bag. If Mom had taught me anything, it was that appearances could crumble with one sentence. I planned to give her that sentence. They all arrived, dressed up again, pretending the last reunion wasn't chaos. Mom hugged Nathan, whispering nervously, "Let's just keep tonight civil." When she saw me, her smile tightened. "You're early again." "Old habits," I said softly. Dinner started politely enough. Laughter, small talk, forced compliments. Then, as dessert was served, I stood up. "I wanted to thank everyone for coming again," I began. "Especially Mom, because tonight I have something to share, something I recently discovered." Mom's fork froze midair. "I found out my name was used to take out a $40,000 loan 4 years ago," I said. "It defaulted. My credit was destroyed." Gasps. Whispers. I turned to her. "You wouldn't happen to know how that happened, would you?" Her face drained of color. I don't know what you're talking about," she stammered. But the papers I placed on the table said otherwise. The room fell silent as I spread the documents, the loan agreement, her signature, the property deed. Aunt Ruth leaned in. "Caroline, this is your handwriting." Mom's hand shook. That's not what it looks like." Nathan stood up, confused. "Mom? You used Liv's name?" "I did it for all of us," she blurted out. "You think this house pays for itself? I've carried this family." "No," I said quietly. "You carried your pride." Her voice cracked. "You don't understand what it's like to be judged, to lose everything." "I do," I said, "because you made sure I felt it every day." She covered her face, trembling. I waited for anger to rise, but all I felt was sadness. 4 years I begged for her love, and she gave me lies. After that dinner, the truth spread fast. Family who once ignored me started calling. Aunts apologized. Cousins reached out, saying they'd had no idea. But none of it healed the hole inside me. Days later, Mom showed up at my door. Her eyes were red. She looked smaller somehow, like her pride had finally cracked. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I didn't know how to fix it." I stood there, torn between rage and pity. "Why, Mom?" I asked softly. "Why me?" She looked down. "Because you were the only one who trusted me. That broke me." I wanted to scream, but instead I stepped aside. "Come in." We sat in silence for an hour. She cried. I listened. When she left, I knew forgiveness would take time. But something inside me had shifted. For the first time, I wasn't the weak one anymore. Weeks passed. The scandal faded. But word traveled fast, even to her high society friends. Her reputation was shattered. The charity board dropped her. The same people who used to praise her stopped returning calls. She'd lost everything she built on lies. I thought revenge would feel better. But watching her crumble hurt more than I expected. One evening, I went back to the reunion hall, the same place it all began. The banner still hung there, faded now but proud. "Welcome home, Olivia." I smiled. Not because I'd won, but because I'd finally let go. For the first time, I felt like I truly belonged somewhere. And this time, I didn't need anyone's permission. 2 months later, I got a letter in the mail with my mother's handwriting on the front. No return address. Inside was a short note. "I sold the house. I'm leaving town for a while. I hope one day you'll understand." Folded beneath it was a small velvet box. Inside, Grandma's locket. The one Mom once said was lost. For a moment I couldn't breathe. That locket had my baby photo on one side and Grandma's on the other. I sat on my couch, staring at it, shaking. Was this an apology or a goodbye? Either way, it felt like the first honest thing she'd given me in years. And yet, I couldn't forgive her. Not yet. Not after everything she'd taken. Still, part of me hoped she'd find peace. Life moved forward slowly. I started painting again, taking small commissions from locals. Melissa helped me rent a little studio downtown, the first place I ever paid for on my own. Every stroke of the brush felt like breathing again. Sometimes people from the reunion stopped by. They'd look at my work, eyes soft with guilt. One day Aunt Ruth whispered, "You remind me of your grandmother." That almost made me cry. Then one evening, as I was closing up, a woman walked in. It was Mom. She looked thinner, older. "You're hard to find," she said quietly. I froze. "You left." "I did," she nodded. "But I couldn't run from what I did to you." I didn't know what to say. My chest ached, anger and love twisting together. She told me everything. How the debt started after her second marriage failed. How she thought one lie would fix another until the lies owned her. "I was ashamed," she whispered. "You were the only good thing I ever had. And I ruined that too." I looked at her, really looked at her. For years I'd imagined this moment as a victory. But all I saw was a woman trapped in her own pride. Tears ran down her face. "I can't undo it, Liv. But I can make it right." She slid an envelope across the table, a cashier's check. Every cent of the debt she'd taken in my name. "I sold the mansion," she said. "It was never mine to keep." For the first time, I saw humility in her eyes. And maybe, just maybe, a sliver of love. Weeks later, I hosted a small art show at the same lake house where everything had begun. It wasn't fancy, just string lights, homemade food, and my paintings hanging on white walls. The banner was gone, replaced by one that read, "New Beginnings." As guests walked through, I noticed Mom standing in the corner, quietly watching. She didn't speak much. She didn't need to. Halfway through the night, I unveiled my last piece, a painting of a woman standing by a window, half in light, half in shadow. I called it Forgiven Distance. When Mom saw it, her lips trembled. She turned away, wiping her eyes. For once, she didn't care who was watching. And neither did I. That night, when the crowd was gone, she came to me and whispered, "I'm proud of you." And this time I believed her. A year has passed. The debt is gone. The family speaks again, though not the same. Mom moved to a smaller town near the coast. Sometimes we call, sometimes we don't. And that's okay. I still have the locket. I wear it when I paint, a reminder that love can break, but it can also rebuild. Every time I glance at it, I remember that reunion night, how she stood frozen before that banner with my name. That was the moment everything changed. I didn't need revenge anymore. What I needed was to stop shrinking for people who never saw my worth. So I kept walking forward, calm and sure. 'Cause sometimes the loudest victory isn't the one that destroys someone else. It's the quiet life you build after they tried to break you.